Well, hello everyone. This is Spot of Nerd with a Christmas message. For those of you who are listening to this on our good old podcast, or perhaps you're listening / watching on the YouTube channel or wherever it might be, I think it's good that we give this realness in terms of the Christmas spirit, the idea behind Christmas. It is the birth of our Savior Jesus Christ, and it's interesting because if you were to ask me, am I religious? I would say yeah, I definitely would. I do believe in a higher being, and I also think that doesn't make me a bad person, the way in which the world kind of portrays it nowadays. I've mentioned before, the idea of Christian and Christianity doesn't sit so well with a lot of people here in the Pacific Northwest, and the cliche would be shame on them. But honestly, I'm not losing any sleep over it, just genuinely praying that maybe one day these horrible people aren't so horrible. And I think that's what's so great about being able to do this podcast and to deliver these messages, because I can be attacked, discriminated against daily through work, co-workers, colleagues, friends, family, the whole 9 yards. But I'll never retaliate, because I do actually genuinely feel sometimes, just like being in a fight as a kid, sometimes you just gotta walk away and be the bigger person, And that's not to say I'm putting myself on any sort of pedestal, by all means, no. But what I am trying to get at is, these are, to be very honest and real, these are dark times. A lot of people out there do not see it, and you're experiencing it, I can promise you that. Higher costs, higher ways of living, just day-to-day struggle with life, with health, whatever it might be. So, it's one of those things, you don't have to be religious to see it or to want it to be better, but maybe I would just tell you to pray. I really would. Just because you're religious doesn't mean you go to church every Sunday or you worship God every morning and night. It just, for me, it's a spiritual thing. I believe in a higher being, but I also do, if you know me well enough, I worked in zoology. I also believe in evolution. I do believe animals, we started off as fish and we went from there, but doesn't mean I also can't believe that somebody's watching out for me. It took me a very long time to kind of get grips around that, if that makes sense. But again, at the end of the day, it doesn't make me a bad person. Perhaps, maybe not even a good person, just makes me me. And I count my blessings. I really do. Especially this last year. My Christmas present to myself was my truck. It was the greatest gift of all, and I do genuinely believe God put it there. Fate, destiny, whatever it may have been. There's just some things in life that you can't explain, and sometimes you just walk in and that is what happens. And obviously, hopefully it's a good thing, but it can be a bad thing. Sometimes we are taught lessons. I mean, my God, this last year alone, I'll talk probably a little more the life aspect. Come the new year, I want to do kind of a new year episode as well here, but I can't believe it took 35 plus years for me to figure it out, to figure life out. It's, you have to forgive the pause, but it's just trying sometimes to formulate the words. I have been alone for 35 plus years. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. That's, again, it's not a negative thing. I want to make sure I'm very clear. It's not a woe is me. It's not a negative. It's not playing my violin. It is simply stating the fact my entire life I have fought and basically done it by myself. So what I'm getting at is that it's for the first time in my life I'm actually seeing it, and I'm actually seeing it in a proud way. So that's where I'm getting this holiday season spirit, is for the first time ever I'm actually okay, because I know what I've had to do to get here. Yes, like I've said, sure, have I had people, friends, acquaintances, relationships, family, have they helped along the way? Absolutely. I'd be stupid to say not. They haven't. But again, when it all is said and done, I now can move on and live the life I want to. I'm not going to live somebody else's life. I'm not going to put anybody else first. And it's a beautiful thing. It really is. I hope and I pray that whoever's listening to this, friend, foe, acquaintance, whatever it might be, I hope you figure out that moment. I hope you realize that moment in your own life one day. Maybe you already have, or maybe you haven't, but the way the world is right now, if you're scared, if you're anxious, whatever it might be, if you're happy, you're sad, blah 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 blah, you are not alone, and you gotta keep the fight. You gotta keep going, even if it means you gotta do it by yourself. Because if you got this far, just imagine what you can do once your eyes are truly open. I promise you, your mind will be blown. So my Christmas message to all of my listeners and watchers, YouTube, etc., is to not forget that there is an entire world around you. Specifically today, whether you're with your family, whether you're with your friends, maybe you're just by yourself, whatever it might be, don't forget that right now there are things going on around you that are really awesome. Maybe you're getting together with your entire family, which consists of 20, 30, 40, 50 people. But also don't forget the bad. There are currently children in hospitals dying of cancer. There are soldiers on the front lines fighting for their life to defend their own country. There are people starving to death because they do not have the basic needs of water and food. Don't forget these things, especially when you get together, whether, again, family, friends, etc., on this very special day, this Christmas day. Do not forget what is around you. Appreciate what the fuck you have. Because I promise there is not enough of you out there that do. I work with the public, so trust me, I'm all jokes aside, but it is amazing to me the level of non-appreciation that folks have for the most basic needs. Food on the table, a roof over your head, warm clothes, a vehicle, $1,000 phone, whatever it might be. Stop bitching and start appreciating. That's what Christmas is all about. Giving that, whatever it might be, giving your time, your money, your presence, give something to somebody else. That is what this holiday is all about. Volunteer. Go down and help out your local food shelter or your local, maybe your homeless shelter. Give some money to the homeless person on the street. Buy him a meal, whatever it might. Something you can do, something so small that can change somebody's life. And I doubt very much I don't even think you realize just what you can do by simply just doing something for somebody else. It would blow your mind. It's a beautiful, wonderful thing to do that, to change somebody's life by doing something so small. So I hope this Christmas season that you might actually just step back and realize, you know what, my life ain't so bad. Yeah, things are rough. Won't go down the politics road on this one. Maybe next time. But just appreciate what you have and keep fighting. Whether you're alone or whether you have a support system, keep fighting. Open your eyes. Keep going. I hope this helps. I really do. I don't know really kind of what I'm going off of this or where I'm going with this, but hopefully you can kind of get the message here. I really, really do appreciate everybody that listens and watches, and I do hope that you'll continue well into the future. Obviously, subscribe, listen, share, follow, comment, like, whatever you can do to help Spot of Nerd myself. Hopefully one day we will get this thing blown up and people will be talking about it left and right. But again, regardless of that, it's just, I want to make sure that I share my story, because for the first time ever, I finally am not afraid to tell it. And that is what I am able to give to the world. That is what I am able to give to you and to anybody else. Is that for the first time, I'm not going to be alone. Because I know I'm not. I might have to fight alone, and I might have to live alone and be alone. But at the end of the day, for the first time ever, I am not afraid to basically tell you who I am, what I believe, what I do. And quite frankly, I am fully aware that most of it goes against everything you've ever believed in or valued or had an opinion on. I promise you that. And I don't mean that in any ill will, negative way. I just simply mean that for the first time ever, I'm not going to agree with you. I'm not going to just nod my head and accept it for what it is. Now, for the first time, you're going to listen to me. And I'm going to tell you something that you might not like. But guess what? It's who I am. It's what I am. And it's what I will always forever be from now on. So that is why I thank huge love and support to anybody that listens and watches Spot of Nerd. Because trust me, you don't have to. And the fact that you do makes me feel fantastic. It makes me feel wonderful. Because it does make me feel like maybe I am making a difference. I always said it back when I worked in the zoology days, that if I can just get one person to give a shit about wildlife conservation, I did my job. I really did. It's what Steve Irwin said. He said if you could just get one person to not just like an animal, but if you can get them to love it, they'll want to do something about it. And maybe one day somebody will. In a good way. Just to be clear, in a good way. Nothing bad or terrible. That's not what I'm going. It's not what I'm going for here. Hopefully you can pick up on that. So, with all that said, Merry Christmas to everybody out there who supports it. Happy holidays to all those other folks that do their other stuff, and I really do hope you get to spend that special time with your family and your friends and everything in between. This is Spot of Nerds. We will continue with some pretty epic stuff coming up. Alice in Borderland is finishing up. Dear God, one of the greatest TV series I've ever watched. You know, we've got... what else? I can't really think about it. But the bottom line is, we're also going to get into the nitty-gritty of the politics, the Twitter, basically the Twitter dumps that are coming out, the fact that your own Congress in America is waving another country's flag, the tyranny that is occurring right now. We're gonna get into it, but we're gonna get into it another time, because today it's simply about Christmas and the Christmas spirit. We wish, of course, happy birthday to Jesus. I pray that you're having a good life and you're having a good time and you are happy with what you are, who you are, and where you're going. You might think I'm sounding cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, and you know what? That's okay. But hey, it's what it is, right? Anyway, without further ado, thank you all so much for listening. Please, please, again, do what you can to get myself out there. I would super duper appreciate it. But until then, we will see and talk to you all later. Merry Christmas, y'all, and to y'all, a good night.